I live in Bukit Antarabangsa, and we were there when we were living here at the time when the landslide happened in 2008. Yeah, it was at, trying to remember, 3:40 that we got a phone call. This is 3:40 in the morning. And at first the guards, the phone call was received by my husband, and it was from one of the guards, and they were saying, earthquake, you know, so we're like, we're living in a hilly area and earthquakes don't really happen, but and then as news came in, then we realized it was a Tanarunto, and it's just down the road. So immediately we jumped out of bed and drove down a bit, and we just drove down about a quarter of a mile, and then we saw a house in the middle of the road, and there's a mountain, a piece of the mountain also in the middle of the road. That landslide had an impact on the residents over here in terms of physically, emotionally, financially, and psychologically. And it was the last part, the psychological aspect of being in a landslide, that sort of was the beginning of slope watch, because after the initial shock and trauma of being in that landslide at the site, then people started to say, well, this slope is connected to other slopes, and this slope is in our neighborhood, so would that fail? And that was a question that kept cropping up in the subsequent weeks after the landslide. And then people started to feel uneasy, and they were always saying, are we safe? Are we next? And you know, the place that we live is our home. It's our environment. We don't have anywhere else to go, and you can't keep on living with that sense of unease. So a group of residents association got together, and they created a small program called Slope Watch.
This is a new organization, and they're just starting up, but I must say I was impressed by their early initiatives. After the Highland Tower tragedy, and then following up that on Ululangat, where so many died. In fact, I have been moved by these very sad tragedies. My old friend Tun Musa Itam was affected. I remember going to the house for the funeral. And I thought this is something which we cannot accept in our country. It's a blessed country. Thank God for nature, for the hills, the valleys, and the beauty of Malaysia.
So a group of residents association got together, and they created a small program called Slope Watch. And it was meant to be just a program for just this area, and it would monitor for signs of landslides and report to the local authority. And so we got this idea, we went to MPAJ, and MPAJ was very supportive. We sat down together and came up with a set of procedures so that reports that are filed can be processed efficiently. And we got the thing rolling, and the system seemed to work.
Yeah, a lot of children were traumatized, a lot of people, the adults themselves were traumatized, okay? But now it's 20 years down the road already, we've learned to move on, okay? There has been closure. The important thing about incidences like this is closure, right? As you know, we went to court, and we were given, we did win our case, and we were given compensation. So I think that to a large part has closed for everybody, to a large part, but not to everybody still. I know some people still are upset about loss of loved ones.
It actually affected me as a journalist emotionally, because you see people crying, people concerned, and then the people who live nearby, they're worried if their house will be affected later on. So I think these are the things that was playing in the mind of the people who were there.
And this is a sad part. This is what angers me, because you can see that there are still things that are happening that should not happen.
In a disaster, you have the police, the bomber, the army, and all the support. They will come and they will save you, but it takes time for them to reach you because you know, you've got things in the way, or you might be in an inaccessible area, and it may take not just minutes, but it may take hours for them to reach you. And during that time, the only people that can save you is yourself and the knowledge that you have. That's why public awareness, knowledge, and education is really important, because what you know during those critical first few minutes is what can save you and what can save others.
Tidak semua tempat di Bukit Antarabangsa itu cerunnya tidak stabil. Ada tempat yang memang cerun semula jadi, dia memang tak dinafikan, dia memang stabil. Cuma yang tidak stabil ini adalah cerun-cerun yang pernah diubah suai morfologinya. Maknanya pernah dipotong, pernah ditarah, tetapi ditinggalkan begitu saja. Abandoned slope yang kini telah ditumbuhi oleh semak samud. Cerun-cerun yang telah diubah suai oleh manusia ini selalunya sangat tidak stabil.
40 tahun dulu kita nak beli tanah dekat Genting Sempah. And we built houses through a developer who apparently didn't do a good job because there have been landslides around the area, and it happened behind my own house. Now, I'm not a technical man, I'm an economist. But I look, it's common sense. The slope should be about 45 degrees, but it was about 80 degrees. But it's rock, you see. So they didn't take the trouble to cut the slope properly.
The way Slope Watch works, for example, if there was a resident that sees a sign, they would inform the head of the Taman, and then the Taman head would then inform Slope Watch, and Slope Watch would go site visit. And a site visit just consists of taking photographs and taking down notes. It never makes a conclusion, or it doesn't say anything that talks about the cause of it, because we're not engineers. All we're trying to do is just be the eyes and the ears for the local authority, just so that they could have information ready at hand and they could follow up.
Pada saya yang paling penting ialah public awareness. Orang ramai, terutama penduduk di sekitar Bukit Antarabangsa sendiri, perlu diberitahu tentang fenomena ataupun sains mengenai tanah runtuh. Dia kena ada sedikit pengetahuan asas mengenai tanah runtuh, apa yang menyebabkan tanah boleh runtuh, batu boleh jatuh dan sebagainya. Mereka juga perlu dididik tentang mengenali tanda-tanda cerun akan runtuh ataupun cerun yang tidak stabil. Contohnya terbentuk rekahan pada permukaan jalan ke, pada lantai-lantai rumah mereka ke, ataupun retakan-retakan pada dinding, ataupun ada tiang telefon, tiang elektrik yang dah condong, ada pokok yang dah condong. Kalau di bahagian kaki cerun pula ada keluar mata air banyak dan sebagainya, ada runtuhan kecil. Walaupun kecil, dia tetap signifikan sebagai indikator bahawa cerun itu tidak stabil. Yang ini perlu diberitahu pada orang awam.
But I take my case as a case study and take it up to the Bentong Town Council, Majlis Bentong, and say, look, what have you done? Now I've discovered, and Slope Watch has discovered, that there's no master plan in the whole country. So you may have another Ulu Langat very soon. You may have another Highland Towers very soon, because there's no real policy, no enforcement machinery that is strong enough to prevent these slides and these landslides.
Yang kedua, apabila musim hujan terutamanya, pastikan semua sistem saliran longkang di atas cerun, di tengah cerun, di bawah cerun berfungsi dengan baik. Sebarang kebocoran pada longkang perlu ditutup. Jangan benarkan air meresap masuk ke dalam cerunnya. Ini langkah segeralah. Okey. Untuk langkah seterusnya, kalau rasa tak pasti, kalau katalah kita ada bangunan, ada rumah di Bukit Antarabangsa dan kita tidak pasti yang rumah kita ni selamat atau tidak, berada di atas cerun yang stabil atau tidak, lantiklah ataupun carilah jurutera yang berkelayakan ataupun geologis yang berkelayakan, berpengalaman untuk memeriksa keadaan sekitar rumah kediaman mereka. Itu langkah segera. Baik. Untuk langkah panjang, yang pertamanya, geologi keseluruhan Bukit Antarabangsa perlu dikaji. Kita perlu kenal pasti di mana cerun-cerun yang tidak stabil, yang berisiko untuk gagal. Saya rasa ini telah pun dijalankan oleh cawangan kejuruteraan cerun JKR. Pernah mereka dah lakukan pemetaan risiko tanah runtuh di Bukit Antarabangsa, di Hulu Kelang. Tapi seingat saya, laporan ini tidak didedahkan kepada umum. Saya tidak tahu kenapa.
There should be a national slope management policy, or whatever name you like to call it. And this should be under the Prime Minister's department, because other ministries, there'll be a lot of your turf, my turf, and quarreling and conflicting with each other. Should be a PM or DPM's department. And there should be a National Council on hill and slope management. And they should come out, number 3, with uniform rules and regulations that the state governments and local authorities can all adapt. In developing this, get rules and regulations and laws from Hong Kong. They've done a great job. The whole city is on a mountain, and look at them. You don't have problems. Strict penalties on developers, engineers, architects, and all those involved in development. And have a good watchdog committee.
Bagi pihak-pihak yang ingin memajukan, membuat pembangunan baru di kawasan Bukit Antarabangsa, mereka perlu mendapatkan khidmat nasihat geologis dan juga geotechnical engineer yang secukupnya, yang secukupnya, untuk mengenal pasti kawasan-kawasan yang berisiko, untuk mengenal pasti bagaimana risiko-risiko ini boleh ditangani, kerana kita ada banyak kaedah, banyak kaedah, banyak peralatan, kita ada teknologi untuk menstabilkan cerun. Maknanya, dengan kata lain, pembangunan di Bukit Antarabangsa masih boleh dilakukan dengan syarat kita memahami benar-benar kelakuan bahan bumi, kelakuan cerun di Bukit Antarabangsa.
But when you're talking about development, okay, there's still too much going on. Okay. I know it's very hard on the urban growth in this country. There is a lot of, unfortunately, demand by the population for more real estate. it's going to be an ongoing thing. As populations grow, it will be worse. Okay? But we have to find a proper balance as far as property development is concerned.
I don't think we learn a lesson, but we never want to make use of that lesson. Money, 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 money. Look at the number of hills around Kuala Lumpur, Bingka. You may try to clean the Klang River, the Gombak River and all that. For so long as the land cutting is going on, you're not going to don't waste money. Don't waste money. We don't learn a lesson at all.
Most importantly, you must have a political will right at the top. The Prime Minister, the Menteri Besar, they must say, look, we cannot tolerate this. We cannot have people dying because of one word, negligence.
But because you interfere with the environment behind, and you disturb it, and you cut down the trees, and you mess with the south, combined with Mother Nature. It's a combination. But it's man-made disaster. Nature just contributed to or hastened it. But it was man-made because of what happened prior to the disaster. The felling of the trees, the diversion of the water to our side, plus the heavy rain.
Mudah saja ada saja projek pembangunan baru, bina rumah, tanah baru, buatlah di kawasan mana pun, tetap habis dijual. Bermakna orang yang membeli rumah-rumah di atas bukit ini, dia tak tahu tentang risiko tanah runtuh. Yang dia nampak ialah ini satu investment, satu pelaburan yang baik, membeli rumah terutama di kawasan-kawasan pinggir bandar, di atas bukit pula lagi, kononnya lebih tinggi kedudukan rumah kita, lebih tinggi kita punya status kehidupan. Ini menandakan bahawa kita belum cukup belajar daripada pengalaman yang lepas. Dan satu lagi, saya juga kata tidak, kita masih belum cukup belajar kerana masih banyak pemaju-pemaju ingin meneroka kawasan berbukit yang berisiko tanah runtuh. Walaupun masih ada lagi kawasan yang tidak berisiko untuk dibangunkan.
To me, it's a monument of what should not happen, and it's really they either convert it into something that could be useful, but do not allow any structures to be built behind it. Don't mess with nature. Nature never forgets, and the tsunamis and the disasters that happen all around the world show you that don't mess with nature. So work with nature, build green and clean, and live as one with the earth. We only have one earth. Don't let's destroy it.
I visited that place twice, and to see the buildings fallen, it's sort of jungle around there, and the old building with parasite plants, not painted and like that. It's very eerie, especially if you go in. One day I went in the evening, just before Maghrib prayer. You somehow or other, not that I don't believe in ghosts, but I feel very eerie and very sometimes feel sad at those who died and all that. So that's why every year when these people do the anniversary, I'm reluctant to go there. Because you look at a building and all that, you all these things flash back.
If you develop the place, or if the place is changed for some other development, then I think one day people will not remember. But at the same time, you do not want the place to remain as it is right now. But I think it's to me, it's a lesson, and also for us to question somehow, sometimes, and at the same time to be grateful too.
Symbolized to me, that's a very good question. Okay, I think it symbolizes many aspects. One aspect is loss. It was a great place to live, like I said earlier on, okay, and to lose such an important part of your life, okay. Obviously, you do feel it, okay. On the other hand, it does represent something that should never happen again in this country, right? But unfortunately, there's still too many landslides, like it or not, 20 years down the road. Still too many things happening in this country. And that Highland Towers should stand as a reminder that these things can't happen again, should not happen again. You know? A lot of people never went through what I went through, and I would never wish this on my worst enemy, to be honest with you, what I went through. But we have to learn from it. We have to move on, okay? We have to be able to face facts that these incidences must not be repeated again.